Yeah, I want to welcome you to our lesson 4. And on this lesson, we are going to learn the basic features in KRA portal. It's not all the service that you need to approach the KRA office. There are some self-services that you can do them at the comfort of your office or at the comfort of your home. Now, let's begin. We are going to log into the iTax portal, and then I'll let you navigate with me and see what you can do without necessarily going to the KRA office. So we are going to log in. Yeah, the first thing to do here, of course, if you are doing it for the first time, you normally enter your personal identification number, KRA PIN, and then you click continue. At this point here, you enter your password. Just in case you forgot your password, you can watch my lesson number 2 on how to reset the password. So you do some maths here. 133 plus 12, that is 145. 145. Good. Once you log in into the iTax portal, what I want you to learn today is all these features here. How can we make use of them when we are in need? And the first thing I want you to see is, in case you lost your KRA PIN certificate, you misplaced, you cannot tell where it is, you don't have to panic. You don't have to go to KRA office. You can easily reprint it. You can see here, you come here and you click reprint my PIN certificate. Yeah, so never get worried when you don't have access to your PIN certificate, or maybe it is needed somewhere and you are very far from it. Don't have to tell someone, send it via as a parcel. No, just log into your KRA portal and you'll get your PIN certificate. Of course, here we normally click here when you want to file your return. In case you are filing with P9, you normally click file return, then you follow the procedures. File a maiden return. This is when you have filed your return, but you realize that there are some things you did not capture correctly. Just in case you want to view whatever it was filed, perhaps maybe you delegated that duty to someone else and you want to see what he did. And the other one is when you want to file new return, you just click there and follow the procedures. It will direct you to what you're going to do. Just in case you need to know how to file new return, you can watch my video number 3. I explain how to file new return. And in case you want to know how to file a return given P9 and when you have withholding tax, I would advise you watch the next video after this. I will be explaining how to file return given P9 and also given the withholding tax certificate. Good. The next thing here is, in case you have penalties, you have interest that accrued, maybe you delayed in filing your returns, you can, or you do not have an idea, or maybe you had just you got your KRA PIN, but you did not have an idea that you're supposed to be filing your new return at the end of every year. So you can request KRA for a waiver, but you give a good explanation. So for waiver, I will go in depth here, and I will click here. What you for waiver? Of course, one, you have to write maybe through a Word and get a folder with the with good explanation. You write to the manager domestic taxes, and then you give a good explanation. So what you do here, you come here and fill these details. You'll choose a file. This file is basically your explanation. You are writing your official letter, your explanation, and then you'll give the obligation on what you want to be removed from your portal, and you'll go to part B. Is just submit. Yeah. So basically, when you want to communicate to KRA, maybe this also happens to people who are employed by the government, and they realize that their details have not been reconciled. Maybe you're employed by TSC and you have a withholding tax certificate that still it has not been reconciled. Your payee as well has not been reconciled. You can communicate to KRA, yeah, and tell them that maybe you are very far from the office. Tell them that kindly reconcile my documents because the indicating have interest, have penalties, which is not the case. Because at the end, remember, you cannot get tax compliance certificate if you are missing, your documents have not been reconciled. Basically, what we normally do when we are filing our return, we are giving an explanation of what we have earned, and then the employer also do the same. So KRA will reconcile. When you're talking about reconciliation, is when now your details that you have given and what your employer have given, then they are reconciled. It's also important to note that there are some private sectors who deduct the payee, but they don't remit to KRA. So in this case, it is a very delicate situation in a manner that you cannot be able to file return if the employer is not submitting your pay, because for the rules are that the pay is supposed to be remitted before 9th of the following month. Yeah, in a private sector, maybe you are in a school and you are a watchman, you are a storekeeper, you are a cook. Remember, all these details are being deducted from your pay. Now, this is what you do if you want to know whether your employer is submitting your pay or not. Before you file your return, of course, the first thing, the employer must provide you with P9. The second thing is that when you come here to file new return, if it goes through, it means your employer is not submitting your pay. That means the employer is deducting you deducting pay from your payslip, but is not submitting it. But if the employer is submitting your pay, you come here and file new return, it will not go through. It will tell you that you cannot declare new return when you have an income. So debt and enforcement, this is basically where we apply for waiver. If you have any issue with penalty, interest, communicate this. You don't have to line up in the KRA office to get these services. The second thing I want to mention here is the payment. On payment here, we talk of maybe you have a rental tax, and then you have filed your returns and you have realized that it is positive, especially those who have withholding tax. We know withholding tax, it means that you have just paid a portion of your taxes, but it is not the final tax. You may end up paying more taxes in the future. Therefore, you find that if you work it well, you declare your expenses and you find that you still have an income, then you can do some payment to KRA. Yeah. So this is this is what we normally do. You come here and click payment registration and follow the procedures. They're going to give you the payment receipt. Yeah. When you get the payment receipt, then you do the payment. Then after that, that's what you cannot make payment to KRA before you register. You do the payment registration. Like, let me just click here and let you see. This is e-payment. Good. You come here, you want to make the payment, and then you click next, and then you want to proceed. Yes. What are you paid for? Yeah. Some of you are paying for income tax, rental tax. Yeah? If it's income tax, rental tax, you click, you mention here. All these details will appear here. mode of payment. Like in this case, let me assume that you are a TSC employee and you have withholding tax, and then you find that after filing your returns, there are some payments you need to do to KRA. So you come and say income tax, and then here you're going just in case here you're going to say that you want to pay income tax residents, and then you say self-assessment. Yeah. So of course this one I can't click any here because these are my principal tax from KRA. So this one I can't click anything. So here you are going to declare, but assuming that I was to pay some tax for the January 2021, I will click here and then I deduct. Remember, this one has not been reconciled. So when it is reconciled, then if there's a difference, it means that whatever was received from TSC is less than what I'm supposed to pay. So you end up paying excess of that. So that is on payment. I'm saying that you can make payment. When you want to make payment to KRA, you don't have to go to bank. You don't have to go to KRA office. You can do the payments while you are at home. In fact, you can do the payments with your M-Pesa. Yeah, you generate. I said you come here, you do payment registration, follow the procedures, and then you make your payment. Good. What else can I mention here? No, this one there is. So refund. This one goes to those people who have some reliefs that they're supposed to reduce your pay. That in case you have insurance relief. In fact, by next year, all of us should be asking for a refund because there are changes in NHIF. 1.5% of our the NHIF deductions should be a relief. So meaning that next year we should be asking for a refund on NHIF. NHIF relief. It is called NHIF relief. So in case you have those reliefs, basically this one is for refund of for those who are employed, that is refund on income tax. There are those who ask a refund on VAT, and then there are those who ask and the rest. So we expect majority of us will be following up this refund because when you click that, it will direct you accordingly. The other thing, I've seen so many people go to KRA to ask for tax compliance certificate. You don't have to pay a tuk-tuk. You don't have to pay fare to go and ask for tax compliance certificate. If your details are correctly uploaded, you don't have arrears with KRA. You just need to log in and ask for tax compliance. It is immediate. Ask for tax compliance certificate here. Come here and click apply for tax compliance. Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money going to look for this stuff. Yeah, they will just definitely get you. And the last thing I want to mention is about getting to know your ledgers. You want to know, do I have penalties? Yeah, do I have interest? You want to know before you apply for before you come here for debt enforcement, and that is before you apply for waiver. Get access to your ledger and ask yourself, there's a general ledger and there is the general report. So general ledger, like let me click this here. Let me ask whether I have a penalty. Let me ask whether I have a penalty, and then I will ask from taxpayer main account, and that is then do I have a penalty on income tax? Tax period. Do I have a penalty for 2021? And then you should say show ledger. Good. If you look at this, it is showing that no data, meaning that I don't have penalty for 2021. In case I had penalty, it will appear here. That is for you can the penalty you to ledgers here. You can also look for interest. Do I have interest on mine? You can also ask for a general report from here. A general report will show you how have you been filing your returns. For a general report will show you definitely for the last. Let me come to income tax here and ask myself, let me get a report on how I've been filed. Do I have self-assessment? And then you click show ledger. How is my self-assessment? Look here. If you now general report you'll definitely see, yeah, this is my report. You see this debit and credit. That means this as long as your calculations are done well, you should not be bothered by this mathematics here. Yeah, because credit is whatever was paid by TSC, debit is whatever you credited, you get you gave to KRA in your when you're filing your returns. So, but once they reconcile, you are going to find that all these values will be 0, 0. Otherwise, you see, the only thing pending in my case is this one, because they have not reconciled for 2021. So immediately they reconcile for 2021, this should also read 0. Yeah. So basically, you can just get to know how have you been filing your returns. Yep, and that is it. Those are the basic features that we can be able to self-service. You don't have to. There are things that you don't have to queue and keep calling and disturbing people, because there are things that you can do them at the comfort of your office or at your home. Otherwise, the last thing you do here is to log out. You log out and you are done. Kindly watch my next video. I will be showing how to file returns given P9 and also given withholding tax. Otherwise, down there, subscribe and I will appreciate. Welcome.